Number one show late night. Every guest gets more illustrious. Mero, who is in the building tonight.
Oh, man. He needs an introduction, but I'm going to do one anyway, ladies and gentlemen. It is Samuel L. Jackson, legendary thespian, in the building with us today in the Bodega.
Listen,
come on, man.
Let's keep leveling up.
Make some noise for the God.
Samuel L. Jackson, how are
What
you
does that mean when he said he doesn't need an introduction? That people should know who I am?
They should
No,
just
we know who you are.
I'm notorious enough to be,
They
you know.
just-
Not notorious, legendary.
Legendary. You know what I'm saying?
No, you are. Listen, you got classic movies.
What's the legend?
I'm going to stop you right there. There's nobody on this planet Earth that could play Jules from Pulp Fiction the way you did.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody else on Earth can do that character justice the way you did.
Exactly. How, because you started in Morehouse, shout out to Morehouse. How did you just get this appreciation for acting like this? That just, because like you put your all in every character you get.
Well, we had a pretty, tough theater director, Dr. Burroughs, who ran the theater department at Spelman.
Okay.
So he was all about, committing and doing it. He'd just scream at you from the lights out in the theater. He'd just scream at you and yell, things at you, and we'd do it. Plus, we had a commitment to wanting to be pros. They actually divided up kids who were taking theater courses as requirements and people who really intended to do it as a living. So it was well, all of you who are going to do it for a living, you got this commitment, but I want you to go out and get an agent. And we had our own theater company, the Black Image Theater Company, that was a street guerrilla theater, sometimes referred to as Kill Whitey Theater. We be in there said, die, niggas, so black folk could take over.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom,
This is very important culturally.
But we were really committed to being in this business and taking it over. And I love movies in that way. I would go to the movies and I'm sitting there trying to figure out, how could I do that? I could do that. I could do that better. Or, wow, I would be dope doing that.
Do you still do that?
I'm
Not to throw any shade at anybody.
I'm critical.
You critical?
Yeah.
Okay.
I respect it.
You know what? But we've asked some people before, and they're just no, I would never do that. But to hear someone, hey, listen.
Yeah, I'm
like
critical.
that.
Yeah,
Some
I
shit
look
is
at stuff
mid.
and go
Keep it
Hey, I wouldn't have done it like that.
What was that choice?
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
So you started on stage.
Yes.
Did you want to stay on stage, or did you see movies and say, fuck the stage, I want to
See, I used to be that dude that thought acting was like every other job. You start at the bottom and you work your way up.
Right.
So I always figured the theater was the mailroom.
Right.
And and then I'd get lucky enough, I'd get a commercial.
Yeah.
Make some money. And then if I was luckier, I'd get a soap.
Ooh.
And lucky enough to get another a TV show. And then you get discovered and boom, you become a movie star.
Right.
And
Not like that?
That ain't the way it works.
How does it work? Let us know, because we're trying to learn.
Well, the business is the business. You got to have people who know where the jobs are, who's doing the jobs, how many jobs they got, what the budget is, and where you can fit in that budget sometimes. So the business aspect of it didn't hit me for a while until I was always of the mind that I wasn't going to LA until they sent for me.
Right.
Because I was fine here. I was doing, Pulitzer Prize winning plays, then, I got caught up in my own drug and craziness and doing that. And because I had done all that, Spike stayed with me and threw me in Jungle Fever, and I played Gator.
Yes.
I'd already done the research, so
Exactly.
I killed it.
You sure did. Listen, we all remember the Gator dance.
Immerse yourself in the role.
Came out of rehab, I didn't need makeup. I was still detoxing, and I was 2 weeks out of rehab when I started doing Jungle Fever. And then I used to call my agent and go, "Did Hollywood call?" She go, "No, Sam, Hollywood didn't call." And I called her. Hollywood called. She, as a matter of fact,
ooh, it changed.
these people want to see you for this movie. Boom, and I go from Jungle Fever to White Sands, and
Takes off from there.
yeah.
So how do you pick movies now? Because the latest thing you did is The Last Days of Ptolemy Great.
Limited series.
Limited series. And it was a passion project?
Passion project. I bought the book 12 years ago or so, because I love Walter Mosley.
Shout out to Walter Mosley.
I bought the book and started trying to get it done. And people were trying to do it as an hour-and-a-half movie or a 2-hour movie. And it's no, you can't tell a story. You got to tell a story.
Yeah.
And I was kind of messing around with people trying to get it done. And they're like, well, we don't want to do a thing that's, miniseries. You're doing The Sopranos, you're doing, Deadwood, you're doing, why not? answer my own question, look in the mirror. It's like, oh,
Ooh.
okay.
Speak on it.
And they bought it, and once I didn't want to do it that particular way, I had to wait till they got through with it and then went in turnaround so I could get it back.
Okay.
So it took a while.
Right. And now the movie deals with Alzheimer's, and it's just like you playing this role because you said you've personally experienced this.
My grandfather, my mom, my aunt, her brother, my father's sister, so I'm surrounded by it.
Yeah, I have
So-
people in my family with Alzheimer's, and
Yeah.
watching them just fade.
Oh my God, it's
It's like so
the worst thing in the world to watch
Yeah.
the light go out in their eyes. It's like,
And they can't remember you,
Yeah.
and like they don't remember their name.
yeah, yeah.
So how did you incorporate that when you were playing this role?
Communicating with them, talking to them, during the present time and during the times when, the light was out.
Right.
And there were like days that I would say something to my mom, or I'd ask, do you remember so-and-so? And I could see her trying to remember it. And if I said, come on, now you remember, and then it would be like, she'd get angry because she couldn't remember.
Right, that frustration on her face.
And then I said, oh, come on, Mom, and then she'll just shut down. It's like, oh. And I remember all those things and realize you can't antagonize them.
Right.
Like that. Or you press them on some stuff. And then there were days that I just talked to her and we were talking about something that I thought was important, and she was sitting there and I thought she was listening, and she's like, And then when I said, what do you think about that? And she'd like started talking about something totally different. That had nothing to do with what we were talking about. It's like, oh, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
The key to all that kind of stuff is when that light goes out for them and they're like gone in that space they're in, the upbringing that they gave you to care about other people, to have compassion and all that other stuff is what you need to tap into to give to them in that moment, because that's what they need from you.
That support. Yeah.
So how different was it doing something like this versus like being Nick Fury?
Well, Nick Fury is me reacting to things that happen. And doing a person like Ptolemy is literally acting, because I have to go inside and do things or affect other people that are around me. It's more like life, and it's possibly, the first episode and a half could be a little bit triggering for people who are dealing with people who have dementia or Alzheimer's, because hopefully the depiction is real and honest,
accurate.
And they can look at it and they'll kind of cringe,
Recognize
and go, but
they're going through as well.
There's a point where Ptolemy has an opportunity to. Walter wrote a fantastical ideal of there being a miracle cure that he can take, but if he takes it, you're only going to live a week, maybe. So
Wow.
that's the big choice. Do you want to be clear for a week so you can tighten up all the things that you left behind you? Or, you just want to stay in this particular place right here? Would you make that choice?
Purgatory. Yeah. Ooh.
Do you have a favorite role?
I always say yeah. I probably don't. The guy I enjoyed watching the most because I had the most fun doing this movie was Mitch Hennessy. You know who that
Which
is?
movie was that?
Long Kiss Goodnight.
Long Kiss Goodnight. Yes.
Oh,
Named after Biggie
Gina
named the
Davis.
song after that. That was a good.
Yeah, a character. Well, Charlie Baltimore.
Yes.
So the Charlie Baltimore.
Shit.
Gina Davis was Charlie Baltimore.
Yo!
That was
Put
a
it
good
together, hip-hop.
The most dangerous woman in a movie
See?
ever at that time.
That's like a hood classic right
Oh
there.
yeah, she kills it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Gina was
Yeah.
killing it. But I had a good time with it. It was freezing. We did that movie. I think the average temperature of that film was like 37 below.
Damn, that's cold.
Real cold.
So when it's cold like that, how do you just focus on acting?
I had heavy clothes and lots of underwear on, layered up. But when she machine guns that ice and we go in the water, they did that.
Ooh.
They found a place and you could see the city behind us, and they cut a hole in the ice and put a little tub in there because there was a current. And we had to crawl across the ice, get in, go down, count to 5, come up, and crawl across the ice.
One take?
Did it 5 times.
Jesus.
Oh, you really about this shit,
really
bro.
about it.
You really about this shit. Because I turned on the water in the shower.
Well, they had a hot tub, so we would go sit in the hot tub.
Okay.
While they check the replay, which is not good because you still got to go back.
Go back
They had
and
to go
reshoot
back
it?
over there and break the ice before we could get in. And it was
Wow.
no, it was crazy.
So you said earlier that you thought the progression was stage, commercial, soap. When you realized that was not it, what of those formats or outlets or whatever you want to call it do you find the easiest? It's just like, yo, this is a layup, bro. I'm gonna go do this Capital One commercial.
Yeah, shout out to them Capital One commercials.
Yeah, word.
Give it up for the Capital One
Make some
commercials.
noise, Capital One.
Okay. Black History Month. We be seeing that. I like, what tear out? Like,
That's
we
right.
made it.
Yeah, I got new Capital One commercials coming this week. March Madness. Yeah, because me and
Love to see it.
the three amigos.
What's in your wallet?
Me, Spike, and Chuck. You know, we get to do those great commercials every year
shit.
on our way to the NCAA tournament.
Oh, just light
Always
flex.
like,
You know
but movies are easy. The hard part about doing a movie is getting up and the amount of time that you're there all day. I mean, the average movie day is somewhere between 12 and 16 hours. You know, so it's work.
And then how much of that is just standing around?
Out of a 12-hour day, I would say you work hour and a half straight up. You know, because you go in and you do 10, 15, 20 seconds. You know, and I get irritated with the process sometimes because it's like, we're gonna take 4 hours to do like 15 seconds a movie.
Yeah.
You know,
different shots.
what's the problem? You know?
That's why we don't have that problem here.
But movies is easy, man.
Hey.
How you like on set though? You know what I mean? When you get to the set, are you like vibing with people?
I'm always trying to be cool with everybody, you know, because it's all about the team. The teamwork is what makes the dream work. So
Absolutely.
I know who the cameramen are. I talk to the camera dudes. I'm having fun with them. I'm having fun with the people I'm working with. I bump heads with directors from time to time because I have a thing in my head about how I see a movie before I do it.
Right.
Okay. And what happens when you have bump heads like that? Do you usually win? Because you Samuel L. Jackson.
Does it depend on who it is? Because you work with Tarantino, Spike Lee,
Yeah.
you name it.
But I don't argue with some of them.
Right.
Because some of them, I know they know what they're doing, but sometimes people get in.
Yeah, you like,
over
that
their
ain't-
head
that ain't
and
it,
you go,
Chief.
That's
Yeah.
not what's happening. You know.
You ever put some shit down and be like, hey, Spike,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this, Spike?
Or you argue with guys because they want you to do something that doesn't make sense.
Right.
And I'm not gonna do something that the audience is gonna be sitting there going like,
What the fuck is he
Why
doing?
he pull his dick out? He didn't need to pull his dick out for that.
yeah, man. That was a guy that told me once, look, there's all these people coming and you need to distract them. So take the bullets and throw them over that way. So it's like, dude, it's a gunfight.
Right. Who's
I
throwing
need
bullets?
bullets. I'm not- listen, you know, or I stop and pick up guns of people that I shoot, and they go, "Don't stop!" And I go, "He's got a gun.
You need a gun.
There's 7 of them. There's 1 of me. I need more guns."
I always got frustrated watching movies. So I'm like, you leaving guns right there.
Or you see somebody shoot
Or
somebody
they
with a
just,
handgun.
they just shoot. You
You
know, it's
know,
like,
rapidly.
that's
Like, no, you got to be specific.
You're doing the off-screen reload. That's like a game. Like, no.
No.
And I'm gonna use my pistol. If there's a shotgun, I'm using my pistol to get to a shotgun.
Exactly.
No,
That's
you're upgraded.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, that's what makes me the most mad, because they'll kill 20 henchmen with AKs and just still running through with the
Yeah,
shit.
right.
Four,
It's like,
five.
nobody stops and say, "Oh, let me get this machine
Let me get
gun
this,
here."
let me get this big joint.
Do you have any role that you did that you were like, damn, I needed that check?
All of them.
Yeah? Yo, I mean, no, but I mean, like, he was like, maybe I'm doing like some home furnishing or something. I wanted a new car. No? None? Not even the Crystals one?
Well, Crystal, I was a young actor. I was hoping to do a commercial.
Okay.
You know, so you do that. See, that's a point in your career where you're going to auditions and you're hoping you get hired, whether you care about the project. Well, most times you don't even know what the whole script is anyway. They're just giving you like 4 pages.
Here's
You show up.
Here's your sides.
Yeah, here's your size. You go in, you know, do the audition, and you hope you get the job.
Right.
Now, there's another point, if you get to that point, where people are sending you things.
Yeah.
And then you have to start making choices, which will either keep you in the business or get you out of the business, or you trying to do something quick, cheap, and just steal a check.
Gotcha.
Choices are what keeps you in the business. Choices are what gets you out of it, you know? But because name of the game is asses and seats.
True.
Speak on it.
That's
You know?
a fact.
Yeah.
So that's it. When I get criticized, or when people go, "Oh, that motherfucker play the same guy all the time," I say, "Well, I like that guy." You know?
That's me, motherfucker.
And he makes money. Those are the movies I would have gone to see when I was a kid. So sometimes I make those choices. When they called me and said King Kong, I was like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah.
Hell
go.
yeah.
Fucking go.
Hell yeah. And I
Right.
was like, Kong Skull Island? You mean like King Kong? Okay, fine.
Shaft.
There you go.
Shaft, I had some problems with at first when John first came to me, and I was like, well, why do you need a new Shaft? And he's like, well, it's been a long time. You know, it's 2000, you know, we knew, and I was like, if you can get Richard to be in it, I'll do it.
Yeah. Richard Roundtree?
Yeah.
Peoples?
Yeah. You know what? Peoples wasn't even the bad guy when we first started doing Shaft. It was Christian Bale.
Ah,
After he killed Mackay. And I was like, I can drive to his house and kill him anytime.
Anytime.
You know,
Yeah.
this is the bad guy. And they were like, what? And I was like, Peoples. And Jeffrey, come on.
Yeah.
Jeffrey,
He ate that.
Jeffrey stepped all up in it.
Oh, man.
Everybody thought Jeffrey was a Dominican.
I thought he was
really
the man.
was.
I was like, yo, we did it, baby.
Who is this guy?
We did it. And then I saw him in another movie. He's like, well, I'm Jeffrey Wright. Yes.
But everything Jeffrey does, he kills. So.
I feel like you are one of those like special like crop of actors that's like, man, this dude ain't going nowhere.
You know, when I was here, when I first got here, I landed in New York in Halloween night, 1976, right? And that was this cadre of black actors, big-ass cadre of black actors. And I remember when Denzel showed up, you know, and everybody was like, yeah, D, hey, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, people started getting plucked out. You know, Morgan left, you know, and did Street Smart. Then Denzel left and did St. Elsewhere, and then he started doing all these movies, and then Fish left, and then Wesley left. So you're in the right place.
Yeah.
You're just waiting on your turn to come, you know, so you just keep on doing your grind. So I was fortunate in that I had these kind of guys that we worked together, we came up together, or even in college, when my wife was there, Bill Nunn was my roommate.
Oh, wow.
You know, housemate. We were doing plays together. Famo, we just saw him on TV the other night. So there are a lot of guys that we came up with that are still working or that got the break that got them out there, and then they made the choices that kept them out there. You know, so it's a science.
Yeah.
You know, because you can do stuff that'll take you out of the game. You can win an Oscar and get taken out of the game because you know the next movie you do or the next 3 movies you do, you know, and we don't get that many bites at the apple.
That's
you know?
right. You know.
You only fail so many times before, you know.
It's a wrap.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Start looking for the next one, you know. And
right.
they were never looking for the next Denzel or the next, you know, Forrest Whitaker or even, you know, the next me. They were always looking for the next Brad Pitt, the next Tom Cruise, you know, those guys, because they didn't believe that we had an audience. And people have proved that we do. Yeah. You know.
Hello.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Our folks went out and saw those movies, and all the girls loved Denzel. You know, I wasn't a heartthrob, but, you know, I found my space.
I mean,
you
you
know.
still got a little
Still
bit.
got
in
some.
that.
You still good looking. You still got it.
Well, yeah, but you know, I don't.
Young Sam was out there getting that double time.
I don't-
Come on, you was out there
I don't
double time.
do to get.
Listen.
I don't do to get the girl moved.
You don't got to. You know, say it. If you wanted to, you could. All
You was
right.
out there getting a double
Only,
time.
out there.
only in Ease Bayou.
Hey, see? Listen, look that up if you don't see it. Listen, this has been a legendary interview. Nothing but illustrious guests. Samuel L. Jackson, everyone that comes to the Bodega gets a neon sign.
Ow!
What would you like your neon sign to say?
The BMF was here.
Hey.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know what that mean? Bad motherfucker.
That's right. Can we get you saying motherfucker?
Of course, I say motherfucker all the time.
There we go.
You know, it's like there's varying degrees.
The varying
of it, you know.
degrees.
It's like, motherfucker.
There.
You know, that's like, hey, motherfucker, what's up?
A good motherfucker.
That motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Different levels.
all of it, you know. We make it work. We make it
Samuel
work.
L. Jackson in the building.
God.
Appreciate it. Can I get a Lucy?
Hey. Get that man with a Newport. Yo, welcome to the official Desus and Mero YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe to see some dope content that you can only get here.
Sit back, you know what I'm saying? Watch a video or 2 or 3 or 5, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to do. You can take your pants on or off.